Hello, lovelies. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. Thank you so much for joining me. This week we're using the new Palladini tarot, and I've got information about that in the description box below in case anybody's interested. Please remember that when you find this reading, whenever you happen to find this reading and you're inspired to watch, these messages are timeless. They're general for the collective energies of the day. So take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I invite you to tune into your own intuition, your own higher self, inner guidance, spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might receive your own personal messages and insights. Ready. The Queen of Pentacles. Brilliant. Look at that beautiful card. Oh. The pentacle disc almost looks like a sun right next to that crescent new moon. We've got the light energy and then the dark yin here, the growth like up from the earth. That's just a lovely sort of cameo depiction. But that's the thing, the jewel in the mind. That's what gives this queen the recognition of how we manifest, how we heal, how we nurture, how we manage and create our physical reality. In the forefront of her mind is her intuition and her thoughts and hopes for new beginnings, and in the center is that jeweled intuitive space of not just logically understanding facts and figures and processes and things like that, but knowing it so well that you can intuit what comes next. And that's one of the things that creates growth within her and around her. This depiction of the Queen of Pentacles is, I think, profound in the best sense of what the Queen of Pentacles can represent. There are plenty of things. Again, there's a light side and a dark side, right? There are plenty of things that the shadow aspect of that queen can bring up, and we can dive into seeing that here, but I'm not getting that vibe in particular from this. If there's an energy that comes up that is challenging, that comes up from like the ego space of needing to have control over something, or needing to know best, needing to be right, needing to push forward, like pushing those good qualities to the extreme, where in a moment it might not be warranted that way. That kind of shadow aspect is very faint here, but it's showing the tension that can create growth. It's showing just enough stress or resistance to allow someone to recognize, oh, wait, I need to take a step back from that for a moment. Maybe I need to settle down and listen to other perspectives before I say, this is how we're going to do it. You have to listen to me or get out. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain amount of, we could find ourselves in a situation where we're getting resistance from others, or where we're feeling like we have to push something. And it doesn't matter whether or not we're right or wrong, or we've got the full picture. What matters is, are we going to keep pushing, or are we going to back off and let things settle and then kind of work this through, both listening and communicating, receiving and giving? You know what I mean? Balancing out those energies, and that creates a growth opportunity. So if you find yourself dealing with that more shadowy aspect of the Queen of Pentacles, where you're feeling like you need to be right about something, or something has to be perfect, or it's not going well, or you need to control something, it's just affording you the opportunity to grow within, to take a moment, to take a deep breath, to back off and say, okay, wait a minute. How do I really want to? I don't want to push the resistance, because it's just going to push back. This is an opportunity for me to grow, for me to shift and change, right? And the light side of that is being in that space where you don't have to control. You understand the powers of manifestation. As much as you might not like the difficult things to happen, you might be able to take a broader viewpoint and see why they are there, and work with all of the energies, good, bad, indifferent, and, you know, whatever they are. Work with all of the energies around you in order to create, nurture, growth. So the management of external resources, time, energy, teamwork, people, finances, health and well-being, all of these pentacles energies, the management, this queen recognizes that the management of those things comes from the management of the self within. And when challenges and resistance and things of that nature come up, they're there to create growth. And so we don't back away from them. We don't try to hinder them or control them, but we try to work with the reason that they're there. And the reason that they're there is, it could be for something specific, to create growth in something, you know? And so we need to be able to take a hands-off approach to looking at that, and then being able to work with all of the energies, not just the good energies, not just the ones that are working correctly for us, but also the ones that we would prefer not to have there. Well, they're there for a reason. And even though it might not be our preference, even though we don't like it or it's uncomfortable, we might have to take that in and say, okay, you're pointing at something. There's something here that needs to be addressed. Let me do that, and work with all of it. So when working with this Queen of Pentacles energy today that comes up, it's about recognizing self-management within, and recognizing that the resistance or the process that's going on around us, we have to, all of it goes into the mix, not just one thing, or not just the things that we want, but there's other things here that could be useful, even though they might not appear that way to begin with. They're showing me the example of like weeds in the garden. Weeds in the garden, certain weeds grow in certain spaces due to the mineral content and the the life content in that soil, right? A particular weed usually sprouts up in the soil in a spot where a particular mineral is lacking. So looking at which weeds are growing in what spot in your garden or in your yard or whatever actually tells you what the life of your soil looks like and what amendments might be required if you're a gardener, right? In that same sense, say that we go ahead and we pull some weeds and then we add soil amendments to that particular area so that we can set up our flower bed or our vegetable bed. The weeds that we've pulled out are then not useless, and we can actually, they're usually chock full of vitamins and minerals. And so if we were to make something like a compost tea, some people don't want to put it in their compost bin because they don't want the seeds of the weeds to spread and then grow and blah, 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 right? But you have to understand that plants are their own living beings. So there's always going to be weeds. You're never going to eradicate them completely unless you want to poison your soil and use chemicals and this, that, the other thing or whatever. But even that doesn't always work, does it? So there's always going to be weeds. But what you do with them once you pull them out, or once you see, oh, they're growing there because the soil needs that mineral or that nutrient, and then you pull them, you add that mineral or that nutrient there, that's going to help your bed. What do you do with the weeds that you've pulled? Well, they are still useful. I mean, you could toss them. You could put them in a compost or put them in the woods, or, put them out for trash pickup with your rubbish and stuff like that. You could also soak them in water and leave them in the sunlight and make sort of like a compost tea that you then use to put all of those vitamins and minerals that are actually in that particular weed. And you can actually put, kind of decoct and extract those oils and those vitamins and stuff into water, and then use that to water your garden and give the soil extra nutrients and extra vitamins and extra minerals. So this Queen of Pentacles has that energy of, there's something here that's unwanted, but it's pointing to a problem. And I can see that. And so I'm going to amend that. But then what do I do with the leftovers? I can compost them. That's going to help the growth process. That's going to help the cycle. So whether it's an internal struggle or whether it's about managing things around you, and with the Queen of Pentacles, it's always both. It's always about self-managing within. Where am I trying to control a situation or to make something happen, but I'm getting resistance? And then how do I approach that resistance? How do I use it to benefit? And the other then is managing the external resource or the external situation, but having that centeredness and that broader vision of, even the bad stuff is useful because it's going to point to a problem that needs to be solved. And I don't have to be right all the time, but some people might need to get into it a little bit before they realize that the suggestion that I had is actually the way to go. So it's like, it's kind of letting things move along and letting them continue to grow so that you can get all of the components working together, whether it's other people or whether it's resources or whether it's just in your own environment or your own situation that you're trying to work with and manage. So this wonderful Queen energy about recognizing how things manifest and how to utilize what is manifested by balancing that internal energy. I am wishing you so much peace and blessings and such a wonderful day. I certainly hope that this Queen's energy today brings you an opportunity to have fun, recognizing the as within, so without energy, and really clicking into place. That's what I'm feeling from this particular Queen, is like certain things clicking into place and you being able to see it in real time, like right in front of you. Like, oh, this. Let me take a step back. Let's see how this goes for a few minutes. Okay, now. And being able to work with this energy. That's an awesome sense of abundance, to realize that you don't have to rid anything out of your sphere. You just have to work with it in a different way so that the less desirable energies serve their purpose and then dissipate, and the more desirable energies actually get nourished by that process and grow. Wonderful card for manifestation. Wishing you all the peace and blessings in the world. May they manifest right in front of your eyes today. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to being with you again tomorrow.